Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 4, The Joy of Clubs. Chapter 4 of Shinobi Undercover doesn't raise its voice, but it listens carefully. After the coordinated chaos of Chapter 3, this chapter deliberately pulls back. No dramatic ambush, no overt enemy. Instead, Chapter 4 focuses on something far more dangerous for an undercover operative: routine, comfort, and observation. This is the chapter where the story asks a quiet but unsettling question. What happens when blending in starts to feel normal? Chapter 4 opens with a noticeable change in rhythm. There's no immediate threat, no sense of pursuit. The characters move through everyday environments, school hallways, casual conversations, shared spaces, with an almost disarming calm. For Yodaka, this calm is unfamiliar. He's trained for danger, not normalcy. And that distinction matters because Shinobi doctrine has always warned that the most vulnerable moment isn't combat, it's downtime. Historically, ninja were most often compromised during periods of rest or social integration, when vigilance softened just enough to be measured. Chapter 4 places Yodaka squarely in that danger zone. The first truly important scene comes when Yodaka speaks with operator number 9 about what's been happening since the karaoke mission. Casually, almost absent-mindedly, Yodaka flicks a pushpin like a kunai. The speed, precision, and control are extraordinary. The person hanging the picture can't even figure out where it came from. This moment reinforces two things at once. First, Yodaka's immense skill. Just like in Chapter 2, when he weaponizes a lunch divider, we're reminded that he can turn any ordinary object into something lethal. This is pure shinobi training, resourcefulness over reliance on tools. But second, and more importantly, this is our first clear sign of complacency. Yodaka isn't showing off. He isn't trying to intimidate, he's simply comfortable. Comfortable enough to forget where he is. Operator number 9 has to remind him. Things like that aren't allowed while on mission. That reminder matters. Operator number 9 provides what little information he can about why Aoi continues to be targeted. This is where we get the first explicit mention of Fugitive Ninja. This is a critical lore drop. Fugitive Ninja aren't just criminals. They're shinobi who operate outside official structures. Historically and fictionally, these are the most dangerous operatives because they retain training without oversight, loyalty, or restraint. Yodaka's reaction is immediate panic. The idea of acting independently or becoming something other than a public safety ninja terrifies him. He can't conceptualize himself outside institutional control. This reinforces an important aspect of Yodaka's psychology. He doesn't just rely on orders, he needs them. Aoi cuts the tension with a comedic beat, pulling Yodaka out of his spiral and reminding him it's time to go home, completely forgetting that earlier she insisted they should join a club. That forgotten suggestion is about to matter a lot. Now the main body of the chapter begins. We're introduced to a new named character, Miyake. At first glance, Miyake appears unassuming, a student trying to join the soccer club, being hazed by upperclassmen and forced to run errands for a chance to belong. In this series, names matter. Miyake can carry multiple meanings depending on kanji, but they all revolve around the idea of multiple houses or affiliations. In Japanese storytelling, house often refers not just to family, but to allegiance, role, or institutional belonging. This is our first quiet hint that Miyake may not be as simple as he appears. Following the pattern we've seen throughout the series, Aoi is the first to step in and challenge the hazing. She doesn't hesitate, and she immediately drags Yodaka into her heroics. Aoi pulls both Yodaka and Miyake into a soccer match against the upperclassmen. The terms are simple: win, and they get to join the club losers, become servants. This scene reinforces Aoi's defining trait. She responds instinctively to unfairness. She may not understand the hidden war around her, but she always recognizes injustice when she sees it. Just like with the teacher incident and the karaoke bar, operator number 9 orders Yodaka to keep a low profile, and at first, he does. But then Aoi is targeted on the field. The shift is immediate. Yodaka requests permission to kick into ninja mode as discreetly as possible. Once permission is granted because the assignment is now in danger, he moves. What follows is textbook Yodaka, efficient, reliable, precise. He sets the ball off his own head for Aoi. Aoi sends it toward the goal. Miyake runs in for the final header, but stumbles. And that's when Yodaka makes a decision. He throws a piece of candy, launching the ball into the goal. It's a perfect callback to the pushpin earlier in the chapter. And it's also his first real mistake. As everyone celebrates, Yodaka experiences something completely foreign to him. Joy that isn't tied to survival. This isn't a life or death mission. This isn't tactical cooperation. It's teamwork for fun. For a brief moment, Yodaka feels what most people take for granted. That being part of a group, even something as trivial as a club, can be deeply fulfilling. And then Aoi quits the club. Immediately. She quits for herself. And for Yodaka. On the surface, Chapter 4 feels almost slice of life. Yodaka reports in. School life continues. Aoi suggests joining a club. A soccer match replaces assassination attempts. But structurally, this chapter is doing something very deliberate. It is transitioning the threat model of the series. Up until now, danger has felt reactive. Someone attacks. The team responds. The situation resolves. Chapter 4 introduces a different framework. Here, the enemy observes before acting, blends in as thoroughly as the protagonists, collects data instead of creating chaos. This is not escalation through violence. This is escalation through intelligence. The early scene between Yodaka and Operator Number 9 is critical in hindsight. The pushpin moment is flashy, but its narrative purpose is subtle. It reinforces Yodaka's extreme competence, but it also signals that his guard is slipping. Operator Number 9's reminder isn't about rules, it's about visibility. Yodaka isn't being reckless. He's being noticeable without realizing it. This is the first time the story shows that Yodaka's danger isn't failure. It's success that attracts attention. When Fugitive Ninja are mentioned, the series quietly reframes its world. These aren't lone wolves acting randomly. In shinobi fiction, fugitive operatives often exist in shadow networks, mercenary cells, intelligence markets. They don't work alone because they can't afford to. Miyake's later dialogue confirms this. He knows about multiple failed attempts. He understands public safety involvement. He already has a long-term plan. This tells us something crucial. Miyake isn't scouting. He's auditing. The soccer club storyline serves two purposes simultaneously. Narratively, it gives Yodaka a glimpse of a normal life. Teamwork without orders, competition without lethal stakes, belonging without hierarchy. Strategically, it's a stress test. The club environment encourages predictability, establishes schedules, creates witnesses, exposes habits. In intelligence terms, this is the worst possible environment for someone hiding. And yet, Yodaka thrives in it. That's the tragedy. The candy throw isn't just a clever callback. It's the moment Yodaka leaves a signature. In espionage storytelling, patterns matter more than events. Yodaka uses the same principle twice in one chapter. Pushpin earlier, candy later, Miyake doesn't need proof. He needs confirmation. That candy isn't evidence, it's validation. Miyake's phone call is chilling not because of what he says, but because of what he assumes. He assumes others are listening. Information is shared. Action will follow observation. This implies hierarchy. Miyake speaks like someone reporting upstream, not acting independently. When he calls Yodaka full of openings, that's not trash talk. It's professional assessment. And when he outlines a plan, kill the protectors, then take Aoi, that's operational sequencing, not improvisation. This storytelling shift mirrors several influential manga structures. World trigger threats escalate from individual combatants to organized forces. Observation and data gathering precede direct engagement. Protagonists are analyzed before being attacked. Death Note, early arc. The most dangerous enemies don't act immediately. They confirm hypotheses before moving. Calm scenes hide strategic positioning. Jujutsu Kaisen rogue actors are rarely truly rogue. Curse users and sorcerers operate within informal but real networks. Institutional blind spots are exploited by outsiders. Shinobi Undercover is clearly borrowing from this lineage. Danger doesn't come from strength alone. It comes from understanding the system. Chapter 4 quietly ends the illusion that this is a series about isolated incidents. From here on, the enemy is watching patterns matter, and Yodaka is no longer invisible. Miyake isn't the final threat. He's the proof of concept. If one fugitive ninja can identify Yodaka this easily, others will follow. The story has shifted from, can Yodaka protect Aoi, to how long before protection itself becomes predictable. In Shinobi Undercover, survival isn't about winning fights, it's about staying unread. And after Chapter 4, Yodaka has been read. If you're enjoying these deep dives into Shinobi Undercover, breaking down visual storytelling, Shinobi doctrine, symbolism, and the details hidden between panels, like, share, and subscribe. This is Birds in the Shadows. And from here on out, the hunt has truly begun.